Hey guys, John V here from PhoneArena. You're watching our in-depth video review of iPhoto for iOS. It's finally here. It's available in the App Store for $4.99 and it supplements Apple's lifestyle applications such as iMovie and also GarageBand. It's a very intuitive, easy to use photo editing application that some people will definitely appreciate. So let's talk about the look and feel of iPhoto's presentation. It makes good use of the added space with the iPad version here. For example, you have the 4 tabs up top. With the Albums tab, you have this bookshelf that shows you all the different albums that you have on the device. With the Photos tab, it lays it out just like you find with the stock photo application with iOS. It has the grid-like view of all the photos. You have a tab here for events, and you also have journals, so it makes good use of it. You definitely notice the interface being tweaked a little bit more when you actually make selection. Then you're given this different view here, different panels and layouts. On the left side here, you have your albums here, your photos, and you have the main view of the images right here. And the bottom you have a toolbar, and you have also a top toolbar. The bottom here being more of the editing functions, and the top just giving you some main menu stuff. So if you're just like us, your first time using iPhoto, you'll definitely appreciate and be grateful for this for the question mark icon right here in the top toolbar. You press that and it tells you all the functions of the iPhoto application here. So it gives you all the labels, which is very neat. And you have five main editing functions here at the bottom left. You have things like crop and straighten, exposure, color, brushes, and effects. So first thing we're going to show you is the crops and straighten feature with iPhoto. So we're going to use this photo of this handsome model here that we have. So you have the function here, you press it from here, you could crop it by using pinch gestures, you could rotate it to any way you want. You could even use the gyro down here at the bottom if you want to do it manually, if you don't want to use your fingers. And then you could also enable gyro mode, which allows you to actually tilt the iPad to actually orient the image to your liking. Next up, we're going to show you the exposures editing features of iPhoto. So when you make the selection at the bottom here, I'm going to show you what the labels are. You have this adjustable timeline here at the bottom, which allows you to change shadows, contrast, and brightness, also highlights. You could either do it by moving the appropriate item here. You could tell it changes it. Or better yet, the cool thing about iPhoto is that you could actually do a long press anywhere. And you could also do it by just doing it like this. So it makes it a little bit easier to handle. So you could adjust things like brightness, you could do shadows, the highlights, all that stuff. So it's pretty intuitive. Using the same premises that we find with the exposure features, the same thing can be found here with the colors feature. So at the bottom here you have an adjustable timeline for a variety of different things: saturation, the blue skies, greenery, skin tones, and of course being a portrait that we're using rather than a scenery shot, we could adjust things like skin tones manually by just moving this here. Also the saturation if we wanted, and we could also adjust the white balance if we want to. And along the same premises we said before, you could just do a long press, you could adjust the skin tones to whichever way you want, and also the saturation, so it's pretty easy to use. Easily one of our most favorite features about iPhoto is the brushes feature here. So when we select it, up pops up 8 different brushes. You have repair, red eyes, saturate, desaturate, lighten, darken, sharpen, soften. So they all do what they're labeled here. We'll select, for example, darken. One of the primary concerns before anything else, of course, is trying to stay within certain lines or boundaries. So if you're concerned about that, you could select the option here to detect edges, so iPhoto knows where you're trying to stay within. And also at the same time, you can also show your strokes, so where you've already gone over with the brush. So for example, let's just use the darken feature here. You can tell we could give ourselves a really dark tan look if we want to. Kind of look, might look a little bit on the fake side, but hey, we have a nice tan going on. In contrast, we could do the opposite. We could lighten the tool here, so we could do that itself. So if we want to have a lighter appearance to our skin tone, we could do that as well. So it's pretty nice, it works. Some tools might have a lot more effect than others. For example, with things like, depending on the quality of the image here, for example, if you're using the sharpening tool, it might not sharpen it as good just because of the image quality already is not that great with the iPad's camera, but nevertheless you have that functionality as well. One of the cooler, more useful brushes that we find with the iPhoto that we constantly use is the repair one here. We'll quickly show you that. So we select that, for example, you don't like something in the image, you want to digitally erase it, or if you want to get that Photoshop-like look, all you do is just select it, and voila, gone. So for example, let's say you have some blemishes, you have a mole or something you don't like, you want to get rid of, you could just use the repair tool and it'll fix it, which is pretty nice. Comes in handy with a lot of stuff. We'll quickly show you too where it comes in handy. For example, let's say with this photo, you notice the parking lot here, a little bit, some cracks in the parking lot. If you want to get rid of them, you could just use the repair tool and you can digitally erase them. It'll kind of seamlessly blend in, even the parking lines here. Let's get rid of these parking lines. Voila, just like that. They're pretty much gone. Get rid of those, get rid of that. And you would never notice that it looks different when you zoom back out. So it's pretty useful. And the last editing feature here we'll show you is just the effects tool here. So when you make the when you select the effects, you have a variety of different things you can choose from. You have this fan that shows you all the cool effects, warm and cool, black and white, aura, vintage, whatever you want. You want some more artistic looking ones, you have that too. So you could select that one, whichever one you want. So for example, here we are, we select the artistic tool. We could do, tilt shift if we want to. We could select it so it looks like an oil painting of some sort. We could do a water cooler if we want to, a warmer gradient, a darker gradient. Tilt shift is pretty neat just because you could select the area where you want it to actually focus in on, so you have that neat effect. Or even do something like a vignette to give it that very rustic appearance. Once you're done editing your photos, you could actually do a variety of different things. You could share them to Facebook, email, Twitter, Flickr, a variety of different things, or even make a journal out of it. So you could select, just one photo or multiple photos. So for example, let's select that guy. Let's select this, that. Let's say you wanted to tell a story about your adventures or whatever. You could select as many photos as you want, and the cool thing about iPhoto is that it makes a mosaic out of all of them. So let's say we're done selecting all the photos. We could name it if you want, our journal. And then from here, we could select the different type of layout. You have cotton, you have borders, you can do denim, light, dark, and also mosaic. So when you select it, it's going to make the journal. It puts it into our show. Let's go back to the main menu here. Go to journals, and from here we have our journal right there that we've set. And here it is. It makes a mosaic out of all the things that we have. So it's pretty nice, and also works pretty handy. So if you love telling stories, this is a great tool for you to use. So there you are, guys. That's pretty much wraps up our look at the iPhoto for iOS. Now, as much as we love its simplicity, ease of use for even people like grandma and grandpa to use, it's all kind of limited with its overall set of editing features and doesn't quite replace a traditional standalone photo editing suite that you find on a desktop computer. It's missing some advanced functions such as layers, freehand cropping, blending tools, stuff like that. But for what it has to offer, it's pretty reasonable, and we just like the ease of use that it has to offer. It's definitely by far the most appreciative thing that we find with iPhoto. So if you'd like to learn more about it, you can check out our website, guys, PhoneArena.com. This is John V. Thanks for watching.